The far-right takeover of the Colorado Republican Party has meant that the party's official statements often echo social media trolls. Appropriate, perhaps, that GOP leaders just met under a bridge.
Colorado GOP leaders met under a bridge to hide from other members in order to just tick a box saying that a meeting was held. So these mega troll types held their meeting under a bridge on a bike path.
The far-right takeover of the Colorado Republican Party has meant that the party's official statements often echo social media trolls. Appropriate, perhaps, that GOP leaders just met under a bridge.
When we last left the Colorado GOP, there was internal fighting over a meeting that may or may not take place this Sunday to try to oust Chairman Dave Williams. Vice Chair Hope Scheppelman called that meeting illegal.
Hang on, watch out. Get out of his way.
Unlike the meeting she held last Friday.
This special meeting of the Colorado Republican Committee is called to order.
Under the bridge in Bayfield, the Colorado GOP could not get enough members for a quorum.
I have 3 SSCC members out of 415 total members present.
Perhaps that was the point. The meeting was to fulfill a deadline created once El Paso County GOP Vice Chair Todd Watkins submitted a petition saying he had enough signatures to call a meeting to oust Williams. The sole purpose of this meeting was to adjourn immediately, essentially to check a box to say the required meeting was held.
Saying that they held the meeting for the sake of holding a meeting. They didn't even achieve quorum. Only 3 of them actually met under the bridge. They've also released their June finance statements, which disclose a payment of $58,000 to David Williams for mailers for his campaign. It's pretty high.
Over the weekend, the Colorado GOP also made public its June finance report, which shows the party paid a total of $58,000 for mailers in support of Chairman Dave Williams' primary run for Congressional District 5, the race he lost by 30 points. Wait, 58,000?
So when the finances come out, we're going to see $0 spent to benefit Dave Williams' CD5 campaign and $0 spent for any of the other endorsed candidates.
You're not going to see anything like that.
We see $58,000, and we also see Williams contributing $60,000 back to the party. Here's the thing. The Colorado GOP gets a discount on postage from the Postal Service for campaign mailers, as long as the candidate does not reimburse the party for the postage. In a phone call today, I asked Colorado GOP Treasurer Tom Bjorklund if any of the $60,000 was to reimburse the party. He told me, quote, Williams made a donation. That's all I can tell you.
But apparently paying or reimbursing for mailer costs to a candidate is not unusual, except that in this case, he wasn't the only candidate who is running who seemed to get this huge benefit. And that's all we'll say about that. Williams made a donation, and that's all I can tell you. And this week, dealing with the backlash about the de facto nomination of Kamala Harris for President 2024 from nasty people, bigots, and others. There's still other things going on we need to keep our eyes on. For instance, on Tuesday last week, state election directors from across the country brought up serious concerns to the U.S. Postal Service, saying that they're worried that the system won't be able to handle the expected crush of mail-in ballots for the November election. Stephen Carter, manager of election and government programs for the Postal Service, tried to reassure the directors at a meeting in Minneapolis that the Office of the Inspector is going to publish an election mail report next week, and it'll be encouraging. State election directors stressed to him that they're still worried that there's too many ballots that won't be delivered in time to be counted in November. They base their fears on past problems, a disruptive consolidation of postal facilities across the country that Louis DeJoy put on hold until after the elections. Even though Postmaster DeJoy put it on hold, consolidation previously have been blamed for degraded service in Oregon, Virginia, Texas, Missouri, Utah, Minnesota, and North Dakota. The first regional consolidation in Virginia last year made people have to go to bypassing the mail and placing their primary ballots in person or in drop boxes. DeJoy paused the cost-cutting consolidations, cost-cutting, until January 2025 in the wake of bipartisan criticism. But lawmakers want a commitment that the resumption won't lead to further delivery delays. And this week, Senator Rosen was questioning Postal Regulatory Commission nominees Ashley Poling and Ann Fisher for data regarding any contingency plans that may be made for delays, particularly relating to weather. In the state of Colorado, Donner Pass, DeJoy had sat before Congress, and when he was asked about weather conditions in Donner Pass and how the USPS would handle such a thing, he sat there and said, "Why should I know about Donner Pass? As U.S. Postmaster, you gotta know about this stuff." And on a side note to that, Colorado authorities have been warning the public not to use the blue USPS mailboxes after a man was arrested with a key to these fake boxes, stealing mail and identities, and they're saying this is probably part of a larger network of fraud. So be careful. If you're planning on sending in a mail-in ballot, you better make sure you get it plenty quick, plenty in advance, however soon you can possibly get it, or pick it up from somewhere yourself and drop it in a drop box. The mail service cannot be trusted. Come rain, snow, sleet, or hail, or whatever, unless DeJoy's in charge.